Welcome, parents, to Miss Force's open house. I am on the Welks Kingfisher team. My classroom is S105, right near the library. And if you ever need to reach me for anything, please feel free to send me an email at eforce@waterfordschools.org. You're going to get a copy of this slideshow. So if you need to go back at any point and reread any information, you're going to receive this through your email. Really quick, just a little brief about me introduction. This is my 8th year teaching math. This is my first year at middle school. I have a degree, a bachelor's in psychology, and a master's degree in secondary education. Teaching is a passion of mine. I absolutely love it. I'm a military spouse. I've actually lived in 5 different states, but we're coming to the end of our tour, and my husband's almost retired, and so we're looking to put roots down here in this beautiful part of Connecticut. Some of my hobbies are drinking lots of coffee. I love reading fiction for sure. I love being outdoors. And while I was living in the South, the past 5 years in North Carolina, became a huge fan of shark teeth hunting and raising chickens. Chickens and shark teeth are two of my favorite things. Underneath class materials, there's pretty much nothing new that I think most other teachers don't ask for. The biggest difference here is maybe tracing paper. If you're a fully virtual student, I would recommend you get your child a book of tracing paper. You can find them at any store. And we use that tracing paper a lot to explore the geometry concepts in our book. Your child should have gotten a workbook, a math workbook. We work out of this every day, so it's important that they take it home with them on the days that they're not in school, and they bring it back on the days that they are in school. I also recommended a 3-ring binder. I think 1.5 inch would be nice, but a 1 inch is totally fine. Some kids just use a folder to hold papers. That works too, but I would like them to have some scratch paper and some graph paper. And I think for the most part, that's all they're really going to need. Briefly about our curriculum here at the middle school. I think this is about we're going into our 4th year, maybe I think, or 3rd year, using the Kendall Hunt Illustrative Math Curriculum. It's a highly rated research-based curriculum, and it's really focused on learning math through open-ended activities. And what I mean by open-ended is that there is no one way that they're going to learn and practice over and over again. The goal is that they get an activity or a task, and they come up with their own way of figuring out how to solve it, and then they share their method with other students, and they hear other students' method of solving. So it's really interesting to watch kids be able to share how they arrive at an answer, and it gives them a lot more ownership, and they get more excited too about math class because they know that that there's no one way, and that's the only way to do it. So it's very student-centered driven, and it really focuses on using math language in your arguments for how you come about a problem. Underneath grading, what you'll see in PowerSchool, hopefully if you had a chance to take a look at PowerSchool by now, is that all of the homework tests and quizzes are going to be through online, and they're going to be through Khan Academy, which is a really nice virtual way of giving students practice problems to work on. Each homework is 10 points, and each video is 5 points. And any quiz that we give out on Khan is 100 points, and then any test that we give out is 200 points. Again, because of this year, the nature of this hybrid model, and then the fact that we might change at any moment, having all of their work be completed online is just super helpful in terms of organization, and it gives me a lot of information. So I can assign, what I'll usually do is we'll work on these open-ended concepts, and we'll explore these math concepts, and then the homework that I assign to them is their opportunity to apply what they've learned to kind of a new situation that calls on that information. So a lot of times I get to kind of assign it, and then I'll look at the grades immediately. I'll get immediate feedback. Kids get immediate feedback, and I'll know, okay, they did well on this that day, or no, maybe I need to go back into class and we need to look at this even further, or maybe they need more practice. So it really helps drive my instruction on whether or not I can continue on with the unit, or if I need to pause, break, and reteach, or kind of evaluate some of the skills. And then it also helps me identify any students who are really struggling, and I get the opportunity to work one-on-one, or maybe pull out some small groups. So it's really valuable information. We also have a nice redo retake policy here at the middle school. So students can redo, retake any quiz, test, or assignment, and that's why Khan is also really helpful in that aspect because they can keep trying over and over again. And then the other thing I wanted you to be aware of is that with this policy, no zeros in PowerSchool have to stay a zero. They can go in at any time, complete that assignment, send me an email letting me know that they've completed it, and then I'll change it in PowerSchool. I do, however, mark it late missing, and I put a zero in there because it's a really great way for me to communicate with the student and you at home that, hey, there's some missing assignments that need to get done, and we don't want too much to get build up in terms of missing, and we don't want kids to dig too much of a hole for them. So I do try to grade on a weekly basis, and I do put the zeros in there to kind of let you guys know, hey, things are missing. Let's try to tackle them at the beginning of the week before more work comes in. I just want to talk a brief about virtual learning because I know that this is all new to us. Here are some of my Zoom expectations. Kids need to be on time with their cameras on when they join the classroom. Once attendance is taken, I usually ask the kids to turn their cameras off. They need to stay in Zoom until I dismiss them or it's the end of the period, and they need to participate. If they're just joining in and never answer any questions, never participate, or even respond to me when I tell them that it's the end of the class and they can leave. So a lot of times I'll tell them to leave, and then if I still see one or two kids left, I'll send them a message. And if they're still not responding to me, that means they've gotten up and they've walked away and they're not in class anymore. So it's imperative that they understand that if they do this, they can be at risk of being marked absent from my class. So one of the things you need to be aware of is that you need to be in class for more than half of the time. And if you're not in class for more than half of the time, you are supposed to be marked absent. Students also need to make sure they're responding to me. And if they're not responding to me and they never do it during a class period, I know me and several other teachers are marking students absent because it's as if they're not even there. So any questions on that, again, never hesitate to send me an email. Teachers always do their Google Classroom a little bit differently. So I'm going to bring you over to my classroom real quick and just show you the most important thing you need to know on my classroom, the stream, the classwork, and if they ever need to turn anything into me, then you'll know, this is how you'll know if you have an assignment due. So here is my academy class and then my 4 periods, and then the homeroom is Miss Joyner's homeroom. She's the one who does the homeroom. Underneath the class stream, I just do major announcements and then some major material that might be important, like the class schedule or the link to the Khan Academy. Underneath classwork, I've got the Zoom link at the top, and then I've got it broken down by units. And what you'll notice is you'll see a bunch of stuff here. But if you look over here, nothing is due except for this one. So the reason why is because I post in case a kid misses a book or leaves their book at home and they need to follow along with us during class. I post the pages that we're working on every day, and you'll see I'm dating them. And the kid can just go in there and they can open it up and they can do it digitally with Kami, or they can print if they have a printer at home, and they can follow along that way. Every once in a while, though, if I want them to solve a 1 or 2 question at the end of a lesson so I can kind of gauge some immediate feedback on how the lesson went, I will assign it through Google Classroom. And you'll know that it's something your child should have done because it will have a due date on it. And this is just a great way for you to be able to sit down if your child's missing a lot of work, and you can have them open up Google Classroom to see if it has a due date. Make sure they turn it in. If it doesn't have a due date, I was not expecting anything to get turned in. And I think that's about it. I think the last thing I wanted to talk about with everybody is support. This is a difficult year because we're not offering after-school help. But one of the things we did work into the your child's schedule this year is academy class. This is a study hall. Kids get it every other day. My academy is on days 1, 3, and 5, and it's A block. If your child is in my academy and they're fully virtual, they just need to send me an email, and they are more than welcome to join me. I know attendance is not required right now for academy if you're at home. But if you're at home and you want to get extra help during academy, I will open up the Zoom for academy. Your child can sign in, and we can do some one-on-one while I'm in class with academy. There's a homework for every assignment on Khan. There's usually a video to go with it. So this is highly encouraged for kids if they're struggling with the homework to watch the video. And then tutoring, I'm trying to use Wednesdays virtual days as an opportunity to provide tutoring for your child. Sometimes I do have to teach a lesson, but other days I can kind of just get in there and provide some extra help for students. And then the last thing is if you want to learn more about the curriculum, Illustrative Math does have a parent resource section, and it's something that you can explore at your own opportunity, and it breaks down all the units by unit of study too, which is kind of nice. Other than that, I hope you enjoy my presentation. Have a wonderful evening, and it might be a crazy year, but it's going to be a great year. Take care.